Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for August 26th through 28th. How are you doing? Wow, really intense times right now. We are in this corner turning culmination energy of what 2020 is about, as we have Mars in exact square to Saturn for the next few days. And Venus just had its yesterday exact opposition with Jupiter, coming into an exact opposition with Pluto. So our personal planets interacting all at the same time, these cardinal signs with the big players in Capricorn. Now, the intensity of 2020, the whole energy of what we're doing here has to do with these big players in Capricorn and the end degrees of Capricorn. This, like, Capricorn is structures, authority, rules, laws, really structures on all levels of our lives. And about sovereignty, trying to take our power back. And wow, isn't this being shown to us right now in the world? Mars is in Aries, its home sign, getting ready to take a retrograde. So it's a very strange time because Mars is our main action planet. Let's go. Let's do this. And Aries even more wants to fight for zest, for life, for the life force. We need this energy right now. And it's about breaking free. Aries wants freedom more than anything. And square to Saturn at home in Capricorn, it's like the law, the rules. And, Saturn is like the guardian of the threshold. It's the last planet we can see with the naked eye. And it kind of represents this energy of like, oh, no, you don't. And the obstacles and the things that work against us. And, right now, this time is bringing up this huge energy of this whole story, this whole evolution, for the light workers, the SuperNova Soul, and how they have been worked against, like basically some, religious structures or whatever made laws that made the light a bad thing, and it's been persecuted because of this authority. And the deal is like, this astrology is about giving us an opportunity, and that this now is the time to take back our personal power. We cannot go anywhere while we're still being sheeple, And so it's interesting because around us, we feel like, whoa, humanity, I didn't think you were this far gone, And this is this timeline split where it's like all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I'm on a different planet. What's going on? Now, that actually can be very validating for you, because as a supernova soul, you've had experiences in other evolutions. So part of the definition of a supernova soul, which is an umbrella term for all advanced souls that have had prior experiences, particularly around spiritual ascension, before coming to this earth evolution. That means you've also had experiences and you've dealt with the mind control type energies. And so this is why life's so weird for you right now, because you're not as susceptible to the mechanisms that are being used because you've already gone through that, right? But we have this, like, part of what's coming up is that Venus is in Cancer and opposing Jupiter and Pluto. And Venus in the end degrees Cancer is about trying to just get what she needs, just receiving, just resting, just feeling safe, just feeling loved, And then the Capricorn rules, laws, dogma, structures is about like how we've had to give up our power to external authority in order to get our needs met, right? Now, the way this whole story plays out and is able to stay in place has to do with the herd mentality. And this is what we're feeling right now. It's like if you go and you challenge the status quo of the rules that we're being given right now, it's like you're not a part of us, right? Like you don't. And now it's like we're starting to see through this whole situation how much all of our systems are controlled by these technocrats, right? By this technology system. And it's like if you want to go buy food, if you want to go, anything you want to do, we know everything you're doing. We're in charge of whether you get to do it or not, and it's like right in our face, this authority. But that's a good thing because it's time to take it back. And it wouldn't be so extreme and pressurized if it wasn't like, it's like the control energies are having to use a lot of ammunition right now to keep the energies down. And that's also validation that we're in the ascension energies. And so right now, what we're being shown, especially the supernova soul, is that your prison is your own making. Where are we? What this astrology is showing us is, where are we complicit in this control structure? Like, where have we given our power away? And a lot of supernova souls in this astrology are feeling like, oh, these forces, Saturn is about obstacles working against you. And what we have to do is be like, once you start releasing from duality consciousness, then those obstacles are actually working for you, because it's pressure to push you into your spiritual ascension or into your ego death, into your release into these higher frequency vibrations. So what's coming up right now is our inner and outer resistance to these changes. And it's interesting because supernova souls across the border is like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And yet there's this resistance energy that has to do with fear programming, and so much coming up of like, I'm just seeing this replay of lifetimes for these souls right now, of like where you've been silenced, where you've been killed, where you've been exiled, for simply trying to bring the light to the planet. And this is just in our face right now, because the survival of the human throughout time is dependent upon the herd, right? Like, if you're cast out, then you're going to die. And, that's kind of just the way things are. But we're all cast out right now, and we're all dying. So what we need to do, supernova soul has to get very determined around the fact that, wait a minute, herd mentality is what's keeping us in prison. So we got to create another herd. It's like there's an energy of the supernova soul that's like, well, I just have to figure out by myself. And there is, you do have to go into the wilderness by yourself. You have to ultimately slay that dragon by yourself. But the group energy is so important, and we need to be deliberate about coming back into connection and communication. Except for that, I can just feel this Venus at the end degrees of Cancer being like, yeah, but I don't know if I deserve it. And it's just easier to just go off and be like, I'm not a joiner, but it's like, we've got to be deliberate about our coming together and amplifying our energy, either on the astral plane, or together in person. Really, really great, but very difficult since we're all spread out all over the world, right? But it's like, we've got to use the same mechanisms, we got to use the technology to align with the vibrational energy we are here for. And it's like, this intense astrology is our opportunity to take back our sovereignty. Because think about it. It's like, wait a minute, who gave these people this power over us? Like, it's like these lower life form reptilian, like, we are so much more powerful. Like, and this is where it's like, when we've come, the supernova soul, by definition, you've had lots and lots of experiences. You've come into this lower dimensional reality to be here for this. And so the energies that are controlling, which of course they've killed you, so it's like life or death and persecution, so of course it makes sense. We had to give our power away to survive, right? But these are lower dimensional energies from where you came from. And so why are they in charge? We got to start asking these questions, right? And like, maybe in our own being, like, where's the science to back this up? And do you know anybody who's actually sick? Like, these questions we've got to ask. And of course, it's like the herd mentality. It's like, what? Oh my God, are you a murderer? You don't want to put a mask on, And it's like, oh, so it's just bringing up so much for the supernova soul around being silenced, around being targeted. Like, you can't exist unless you go along with our rules. You got to play by our rules. You got to be in the dominant religion. You got to get along with everybody else, or else you're never going to live on the planet. And this astrology is saying that's not true anymore. You know, and we've got to bring our herd together. And this is like the whole focus of my work. And it's more and more every day becoming so like, yes, this is how we do it. And of course, that's why there's so many blocks to us coming together and working together. But this is the idea behind the SuperNova Soul Tribe membership group. I hope you'll consider joining. This is the last Wednesday update on YouTube. I'm going to move the Wednesday updates to the SuperNova Soul group. So if you want those updates, get on that group. And I know you're not a joiner, but this is a different kind of group. And it's also a great way to support the wider energy work we're all trying to do here together. And it's like just this, so every day, so much more evidence that's like, this is how we do it, you guys. We've got to come together and use our energy together. We have to be a different herd, you know? And we have to recognize there's resistance, there's fear programming, there's life or death fears that are going to come up around this, you know, because it's that powerful. And this is what's coming up, because we've got Venus at the end degrees of Cancer. She's just like, come on, you guys, just let me rest for a little minute. Like, you know, I just want to receive. I just want to rest. And it's like, whew, this energy is so intense, and the laws and rules, and says, no, you little light worker, priestess girl, we don't want you around here, right? It's like, that girl needs to stand up and get a backbone, right? And this is the deal with, so the Cancer Capricorn axis, which is where Venus is in Cancer, you know, and Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn in Capricorn. And it's like, Cancer is about receiving and the mother and being held and cared for. And then Capricorn's the father, the rules, the laws, the dogma, the structures. And it's like power, where we've given our power away in order to get our needs met. And this is the trap of being a human, because a human baby is born and like literally could use another 9 months in the womb. Like, they're totally helpless, you know, like we're totally helpless. And so to be human, we have to give our power over to our caretakers, mostly our mother, you know, in those early months. Whereas like a horse, they're lay the land on their feet and they just go and get the milk. Right. And so this is kind of like a quintessential thing about being human. And yet it's also our power, this vulnerability, this sensitivity, you know, coming together to hold a different vibration, and the power in that. Now, Aries, Mars and Aries you know, it's like a cardinal T-square. And Mars and Aries is like trying to fight for freedom. But the message is like, sure, you can have your freedom, but you're going to be all alone. Sure, you can go outside the prison, but what fun is that? Because everybody else is inside the prison. And that's how the SuperNova Soul's feeling right now, where it's like, oh, wow, I think, you know, I'm on this whole other reality than these people. And I can't even have a simple conversation with them. Like, show me the science that the mask works. You know? And so this is our opportunity. And, you know, it's like, so what's coming up right now in your life, it's such a powerful moment, is everything of this. So a lot of the resistance that we have, or the things that are working against us, are also like, it's like the fear programming and the fear of being alone and all the, you know, just all this stuff. And that is, we're being shown this right now. Like, where are you keeping yourself in prison? Where is your resistance to moving forward? Because the issues right now is like the ascension energies are coming in, and then the symptoms we're having and the problems we're having, a lot has to do with where we're in hidden resistance. It's hidden from us, you know, of like resistance to releasing and letting go of those ego constructs, because it feels like you're so vulnerable. It's like the human vulnerability is coming up so huge with the Venus placement. And it's kind of like when you're beaten down enough, you're kind of like, okay, you know, like, and the thing that's being used against us ultimately is an interesting concept that came through in Bruce Lipton's work around the biology of belief. And, he showed through his studies of the cells and the mechanisms of how the cells work that the quintessential definition of life and humanity on the planet is to fight for life. And what's going on with the technocrat control energy is like the dead. We're living a dead life, and the Terminator gene, which every supernova soul is coming up against this at some point, which is like, why am I even here? What am I even doing here? Why am I on this planet? Why, it's like recognizing there's so much more out there and there's so much more to you than the narrow experience you've been living. And then what in the hell are you doing here? Right? And like terminate this shit, right? But we can't do that because we're here to fight for life. And so the way we do it is because it's like, yes, that's how you feel when you're in the lower matrix energies, because there's death all around you. And Mars in Aries retrograde is giving us an opportunity to choose zest, choose life, choose living in every moment, the truth of consciousness, life force. And it feels better too, right? And so, but so many supernova souls are teetering on the edge here of like, it's almost like, and every time you get close to the breaking free, these forces come and just suck you back in. You'll notice this. It can be very subtle or it can be very obvious. But it's like, oh, I'm feeling better. I kind of feel, okay, I'm getting what she's saying about this, right? And then all of a sudden, could be a little thing. See, part of the deal is that this human sensitivity, as you evolve in your spiritual work, you get more and more sensitive. Right. And then it's like the littlest thing can seem like it can knock you down because it's like, but this is our strength actually, because the sensitivity is about establishing a new humanity that's alive, that's living, and it's funny because we have this whole picture of religion of ascension being like death, right? So we're going through ascension, we're going to lose our body, but we're doing it differently this time. This is about doing it while we're in a body. And it's interesting because it's like, oh no, this is the land of the dead. This is actually the hell realm if you want it to be. If you want to stay there, it's going to get more and more like hell. And we got to create heaven here right now. And that's why you're here, right? And then it's like, why can't we give ourselves permission? What is this resistance that's keeping us in the lower matrix? It's like, because it feels safe, because it's like, that's where the people are. And we got to create a new realm, new people, new heaven on earth, and get our butts in gear with connecting with each other and stop making it about like you're personally that don't deserve to have community in your life, and kind of find these hidden resistances. So it's just incredibly potent and powerful time for the supernova soul, but it's also lifetime after lifetime of where you've had to concede who you are. So now you don't know who you are. This is the Aries energy. Chiron and Aries for this period of time is like, do you deserve to exist as who you are? And you haven't actually, you've been so, just this, it's like these control energies, this religious dogma said, okay, we're going to squash you, right? We're going to make the light bad and the dark good. And humanity will just go along with it. And now we're all participating in a satanic ritual without choice. But that's where we need to go to break free. So for you individually, it's like we got to be that microcosm and step over into the life force, the living, the joy, and claim it back. And it's hard because the more you want to do that and the more you proclaim that makes sense, and it's like, yes, the harder it gets, right? But this astrology is saying, looky here. Here it is. Here's the hidden resistance. Here's the belief system. Here's the, because we got to go back to this place of like these energies of control are not as powerful as we are. We've been disconnected from our power, and we've been taught to fear our power, and game over, right? Game over. And so, like, in our individuality, in our individual life, moment to moment, when we claim sovereignty, and that's too much for this video today, but just getting, just working with the concept is the beginning, right? That's what this is about. It's about, like, okay, let's explore these information, the truths, the lies. Then we got to figure out like how we're going to go about it. And that's what the Soul Tribe membership is about. It's about supporting very directly SuperNova Soul to take back their power and their sovereignty. So I hope I'll see you over there. And so hang in there this next week, right on the heels of, right when Venus is having its Pluto opposition, which happens at the beginning of next week. Then Mercury comes into a square with Neptune. Mercury in Virgo square with Neptune, and Mercury in Virgo is going, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then in square to Neptune, it's like, well, I don't know, like coming up against the delusions and the fantasy, right? Maybe this is part of the deal. It's like you've got this, oh, someday I'm going to have this, and maybe if I'm worthy and if I work really hard, then I'll find my people. And it's like, we got to bring the fantasy of our new earth, heaven on earth reality, why we came here, why we even bothered to go through all this crap, into reality. And maybe that's the benefit of the Saturn energy. All these planets have and signs have a positive, higher octave, lower octave. And the higher octave of Capricorn is hard work paying off, like building and creating this, a new world. And that's the interesting energies, because Saturn is back at 26 degrees. It's only going to go to 25 degrees. So it turns direct next month. So it's kind of as far as it's going to go in Capricorn. And when it turns around, it's never going to go back to those places again. It's done. So we're learning about, the structures of the old world, Pluto wanting to break them down, and then moving into Aquarius, a different kind of structure, plasma structure, right? A different kind of energy that holds us and supports us, and we build with in this new paradigm. But the energy right now is like everything that's been hidden but has been holding you back, of your inner resistance, outer resistance, contracts, loyalties, coming right up to the surface so you can find them. So just know that this is intense but incredibly empowering time. We've got to make this Mars retrograde work for us, and choose this next 5 months is about, because Mars will come into its final squares in January in Taurus and Aquarius. And so it's like, this is all about claiming that life force, that permission to exist in your full light and your full power, and know that, like, you only know something's missing. The only validation that these souls have of their bigger purpose and mission is that, there's a big black hole here. That big black hole is this part of you that you've been deliberately disconnected from. It's so powerful and so beautiful. So many. These souls I work with have amazing gifts, and most of them have no idea at all. And so the Mars energy is really important, because it's about this new divine masculine warrior for life, and humans living rather than dying. And these are kind of, that in a nutshell is this timeline split, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, hang in there. I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.